How can Christine access the parts of herself that are involved in this situation with her neighbor? Okay, they're talking about spending time writing down the parts that come up when you're blended over it. They're talking about parts that are in the head, thinking about this, thinking about that. There's parts that are strategizing, there's parts that are ruminating, parts that are frustrated and upset over it, all the different parts. And they're saying to write them down. I mean, they're saying you can do it in whatever way works for you. If you'd like, you can just okay, hold on. What are you showing here? Okay. You can like draw them out. They're saying you don't need to. You can write out just a little blurb of what it is that they're saying, what it is that you're noticing, what it is that you're feeling. Like you could just write the emotion, whatever it is. You just write them down. You can write it in a notebook. You can write it on a blank piece of paper and circle each individual thing. They're just really emphasizing to write them all down. In whatever way works for you, just write them all down. And they're really, really, really emphasizing the writing them down, the getting them down, writing them down, getting them down. And then when you have done that, connect with it, whichever one feels the most open to connecting with you. It's like looking at this and picking the one. They're even showing if you're writing them down in a notebook, kind of like separate them, like circle each one or however it is, so you can kind of see them a little more separated. It's like asking who wants to speak to me, who wants to connect with me first. And then asking yourself, do I feel good connecting with this part when one of them speaks up? And they're showing what they're showing me is like, so you're asking that question, and then you're just kind of skimming over the different ones that are on this piece of paper, right? You just kind of looking over them, and your eyes may land on one, and then you're hearing me, 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 me. It's like that one. It's making it really clear that it wants you to connect with it. It's ready to talk. It's ready to share some things. And so then you ask yourself, how do I feel about connecting with this part? Do I feel good doing this? Am I nervous? Am I worried? Do I have concerns about this part? And they're saying it's fine if you do. If you have any of those feelings towards the part, if you have concerns about connecting with the part, they're saying write those down too. They're showing me like a different paper, and you can actually write this part that said me, 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 write it at the top, and then write out the ones that come up in response to that. So I feel concerned about connecting with this part because I'm afraid it might be overwhelming. So fear of overwhelm, you're writing that down and circling it. And then like maybe there's another part that comes up in you that I'm like, I don't like this part, and you circle that. When you've written all those down around this part, then you're asking yourself, does it feel good now to connect with this one? And if it doesn't, move on to another one then do this same practice. And if you get to one where you've done that, where you've written down what comes up in response to the next one that's ready, that wants to get to know you, and you've written all that down, or maybe it's just two or three things that you wrote down, two or three parts in response to it. And you're like, yeah, I feel good about connecting with this one. And then you can connect with it. And then you're going to have a separate one for that. And And you can write down what it says to you. You don't have to write down all the words. Write down what it wants you to write down. Like maybe this part says, write down angry, distraught, upset. And maybe that part feels good with that. Maybe that's all that part might have told you more than that, but that's all it wants you to write down because those were it's like those are the bigger things that the part was holding. So having you write that down helps it let go of some of that. It really helps it with that. Yeah, and they're talking about this is how you can connect with them. This is very interesting because it sounds like there's a lot of parts that are activated over this. And they're saying that it helps them be deactivated before they get too activated. And it helps these parts really being seen and heard, not just for their concern around this situation, but their concerns around each other. And it's a really simple way of doing it. And it also, they're saying it also helps because there's parts that don't really have to keep track of things because you're just writing it down and it's just there. It's being kept track of there. So it actually makes more room to be able to connect with them because you don't have parts that are feeling like they have to keep track of things because it's all just getting written down in the process, or at least what's important is being written down in the process. Okay, and they're leaving it there.